Welcome back, race fans, and welcome to the second half of racing action here on qualifying day at the Battle on the San Jacinto 2022. Just like we started off the first half of racing, we're kicking off the second half with bumper boats at 65 miles an hour. It's the Texas Tri-Hull division. And again, just like in all of other classes, first goes to worst and worst goes to first. So the man who took the checkered flag in heat number one, the number 99 of Devin Brown, is going to be way back in this 15 boat field. And it's going to be a doozy if he can try to get himself back up on top here in heat number two. Let's find out what's going to happen as we've got him running down the front straightaway. Just waiting. There's Jet Ski Jared out in front. Pace boat for these 15 Texas Tri-Hulls. As he comes down the front straightaway, green flag. Jet Ski Jared pulls off. And out in front, it's the number 29 of Jared Jensen and the 17 of Neil Marsh. Inside there, that's the 56 of Clint Dillard running in that brand new Merc 115 boat there. No, that's the 63, the 93 of JB Jensen. But our leader right now is the 29 of Jared Jensen. So brothers Jensen bookends on the podium right now in the opening lap. In between them sandwiched is the number 17 of Neil Marsh. As our leader, the 29 of Jared Jensen, goes tight to the inside. Now you see they're all stacked up going down the front straightaway. Jensen makes it out okay. Then the 17 of Marsh, and then the whole pack mushed together there wide to the outside. And it looks like the number 63 has pulled off the course. Unfortunate day for a brand new driver here in the Texas Tri-Hull class, but right now it is all Jared Jensen. He's out in front, pushing hard. He looks at his rear view. He's got a rear view mirror full of the 17 of Neil Marsh, your points leader here in 2022. Then it's the number 93 of JB Jensen, followed by the 1 of Corey Walker. Now Walker goes tight to the inside, looking to make a move. Coming up into fourth position. He goes side by side with the 93 of JB Jensen. Right behind them, the 52 of Mason Rinker. Then it's the number 25 of Dylan Koch as they push hard down the back straightaway. Out of turn one, now we got a battle for first on the inside. The 17 of Marsh on the outside. The 39 of Jensen. Jensen holding the outside line. He washes down the 17 of Marsh. Moves back to the outside and keeps her rolling. Up into third down, the defending champion in the Texas Tri-Hull division, the number 1 of Corey Walker, a man who's a consummate veteran here in the Texas Tri-Hull class with multiple championships under his belt, is trying to find his way one more spot up the grid here in the second of 4 qualifying heats with 4 laps remaining here in this 7-lap qualifying heat. The 1 of Walker now up tight to the inside. You can see there they are, all three of them, 1, 2, 3, real tight together. The 29 of Jared Jensen working tight to the inside now as he's got to try to find that clean water and scrub it all the rest of it up for the rest of the field. You look at the likes of the 52 of Mason Rinker, the 13 of Grant Schubert, the 88 of Josh Wells, the 99 of Devin Brown now has moved up into the top 10. But that's what's tough about Texas Tri-Hulls. If you win one heat, you got to go to the back. And if you can get back up into the top 6, you count yourself very lucky. There's the 1 of Corey Walker's now holding on to that third position. Oh no, what happened there is that looks like the 17 of Neil Marsh has dropped way off the pace. The 1 of Corey Walker up into second, and now we've got a battle for third place between the 17 of Neil Marsh, the 13 of Grant Schubert, the 52 of Mason Rinker, and there was the 17 of Neil Marsh, but he's fallen off the pace now. But our leader, the 29 of Jared Jensen's pushing hard down the front straightaway as he's out in front going wire to wire. Pushing hard here, white lap, go fast, turn left just 4 more times. So the young man out of Windsor, Colorado, pushing hard there. We got a battle for second. The 13 of Grant Schubert and the 1 of Corey Walker. As they continue to push down the back straightaway, that battle for second place there, there's all 3 boats mushed together. The 1 of Walker, the 13 of Schubert, and the 52 of Mason Rinker. But right now it's all about the 29 of Jensen. Can he hang on? Oh, he spins out down to the last corner. Oh no, look out, the Walker gets on top of him. And here comes the 13 of Schubert. Schubert comes out of nowhere down the front straightaway on the final turn, taking the checkered flag out of Richmond, Texas. Number 13, Grant Schubert, finishing in second, the number 52 of Mason Rinker, and rounding out the top 3, the number 1 of Corey Walker. That's got to be frustrating for the 29 of Jared Jensen, he had it till the very last corner on the very last lap. He spun out down in the south end of the race course, and he got shuffled all the way back to 5th position. Wow, that's Texas Tri-Hall racing for you, ladies and gentlemen. What a hoot. As the number 29 of Jared Wallach was looking to go wire to wire there at heat number 2, had it to the last turn, and then the 13 of Grant Schubert was able to sneak by the 29 of Jared Jensen, as well as the 1 of Corey Walker, because when Jensen spun out, Walker's went up on top of the rear deck of the number 29 of Jared Jensen, and the 13 of Grant Schubert, being the sneaky veteran at this point in Texas Tri-Hall, was able to squeeze by on the inside of lane 1 and was able to pull it off and take home the checkered flag. And we'll have a chance to hopefully chat with that young man down here at the judges' stand. But what a great race. Texas Tri-Hall racing is so much fun. It's banging all around. I mean, look at this. The guy who walked away from heat number 1, the 99 of Devin Brown, couldn't muster better than a 7th position in round 2. Now that makes it real tricky when you're trying to pull away from the class in qualifying to hopefully get yourself on top of the podium come Sunday. It's so close. It's so neck and neck. It's all about clear water. And boy, the 13 of Grant Schubert found enough clear water there right at the end to pull himself into the checkered flag and taking the win here in qualifying heat number 2. Now we take a look at what's coming up after qualifying heat number 2 here in the Texas Tri-Hall class. Coming up after the Texas Tri-Hall, we've got heat 2 of the Formula Lights coming up here in just a little bit. And then the J Hydros are going to come out for heat 2, and we're going to finish out the day with the final heat of Formula 1. As I've got our winner here in qualifying heat number 2 in the Texas Tri-Hall class, the JH Performance, sponsored with the number 13 of Grant Schubert behind the wheel. Well, Grant, you probably didn't expect to be talking to me with 1 lap to go, did you?
Oh, man, I saw Jared Jensen up front. He had a sizable lead, and I thought I was getting at least 3rd for sure, but I watched them all wad up right in that last turn, and I slowed down early so they could all go flying through the turn, and I went underneath them all, and they all piled up, and I just celebrated my way to victory.
Yeah, it looked like, the 1 of Walker was trying to go wide to the outside to try to keep top speed out of the corner to try to drag race Jensen to the end. And when Jensen spun out and that tail end kicked out, Walker climbed right up on the deck. And as you've been there, just like every other Tri-Hall as racer been there, when you climb up on somebody's deck, you're kind of hosed. There's nothing you can do. And he was just a sit and duck there, and you had that tiny little hole there down to inside line 1. He just dove down in and ran the thing to victory. Quite an impressive little win. But that's what Tri-Hall racing is. Am I right, man?
Oh, yeah. It's just predicting what your opponents are going to do. Sometimes you can't because the water is so rough. I mean, there's 5-foot holes out there. You have no idea what's going to happen.
Right, and the tricky thing about this now, if we look at the winner from heat number 1, your good friend and fellow Richmond, Texas native, the 99 of Devin Brown, he couldn't muster better than a 7th. But because he had to go all the way to the back of the start pontoon, that's what makes it very difficult. Now, you did a solid finish in heat number 1. You got the victory now in heat number 2, so you're definitely going to have a points advantage. But what are you going to have to do to work your way through everybody else and all the traffic in qualifying heat number 3 to be able to capture the checkered flag come tomorrow afternoon?
So my plan for heat number 3 is to just stay calm, finish the heat so I can start the final. I'm already pretty positive I'm going to start on the pole. I just got to do decent tomorrow and just get pole, get that clean water, and run away with it.
Yeah, I mean, clean water is the ticket, right, especially in the early goings in that main event, because eventually, no matter where you are on the course, it's going to get rough and ugly out there in a Tri-Hall.
Oh, yeah, you got to build a sizable lead early and keep it.
Right on. Well, hey, you got to go get into another boat as you've got your second qualifying heat in Formula Lights, so we'll let you go. Congrats, young man, on another checkered flag, and maybe, just maybe, we'll find you at the top of the podium tomorrow afternoon.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, that was the number 13 of Grant Schubert, the man taking the victory out of nowhere in the Texas Tri-Hall division's got to go right back into the cockpit. He's got to strap into a 6-point safety harness as we've got the Formula Lights coming back out on the water for their second of 3 qualifying heats. It's the battle on the San Jacinto, the 4th round of the 2022 Formula 1 Powerboat Championships. We'll be right back with more racing after a word from our sponsors.
When it comes to roof and gutter repair for your home or business, no one beats the quality and customer service you'll find at Ameristar Roofing and Restoration Texas LLC. We have 13 years of experience ready to serve you. Whether you need to repair or replace your home's current roof, you can count on us to use the best products from the leading manufacturers. We have been repairing and replacing roofs for commercial properties since 2008. You get outstanding results that last. Call today for more information.
VP Racing Fuels has been the official fuel of racing for over 45 years. But VP isn't just race fuels. VP offers a wide range of oils, additives, and our new Stay Frosty coolants to help keep your street car, tow vehicle, or weekend warrior running at its best. VP products are engineered to keep your vehicle running smooth and looking great for your daily commute. With our octane boosters, fuel treatments, and quick detailing products. Explore VP's full product line at vpracingfuels.com.
And we've got a host of other great sponsors, the great folks at JH Performance Boats, built right here in the greater Houston area. Custom handcrafted shallow water bay boats built with the highest quality materials. If you want one of these, you better get in line. They've got quite the waiting list, and these guys are paying half down and getting their boat about 9 to 12 months later. That's what the demand is like for the unbelievable JH Performance family of boats. Racing Communications. They're radios for racing. Seabolt Sports, world champion powerboat racing since 1939. And Seaway Marine, specializing in Johnson, Evinrude, Gale, Chrysler, Force, and Mercury outboards, as well as OMC and Mercruiser stern drives, and engine ports for your Chris Craft inboard V8s and any other boat motor part you need to find. Seaway Marine, your one-stop boat motor shop. Find them at seawaymarine.com. Marine parts online fast. Our streaming provided you by the great folks at Bowden Development. Bowden Development, building a higher standard, is what made Bowden Development Incorporated one of the most trusted names in the California construction industry. Snap-on Tools. Don't forget to find your local Snap-on tool rep, Devin Corbett, the #1 Snap-on tool rep for the greater Houston Metro, reinventing the essentials, Snap-on Tools. Chris Kiefer Construction. Custom construction and stone serving the greater Austin, Texas, as well as central and southern Texas areas. Yates Electrical, shockingly, supreme service. Whether it be residential or commercial, Yates Electrical, your only choice for all your electrical needs. Slack and Company Contracting. They build success. They are your #1 choice for earthwork and mass excavation in the great state of Texas. And we wouldn't be doing it at all if we weren't hanging out here at the beautiful Baytown Boat Club, the #1 boat club east of Houston and the host of the 2022 Battle on the San Jacinto. All right, we're getting the rest of the Formula Lights ready. We're going to get them lined up as these 7 drivers slug it out in qualifying heat #2 of 3 here at the 4th round of the 2022 Formula 1 Powerboat Championships. Attention in the pits, attention in the pits. Daryl Bouillet. Oh, never mind, Daryl. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Here, the Formula lights are on the water, getting tuned up here for the second of 3 qualifying heats. And earlier today, we had a chance to sit down and chat with the man running the first Mola Guard to ever run in Formula lights in the United States, the man out of Stacy, Minnesota, the number 14 of Tyler Peterson. Let's see what Tyler Peterson had to say about his brand new Mola Guard. And joining him was team owner Zach Peterson, and they look to do some damage here on the San Jacinto. Welcome back in the pits here, Thomas Yarbrough. The penultimate round of the 2022 Formula 1 Powerboat Championships here, the Battle of the San Jacinto in Highlands, Texas, just east of Houston. I've got with me the man running the first Formula Lights Mola Guard boat here in the United States, the number 14 at Tyler Peterson. Tyler, they told me you guys had some issues and mishaps here earlier this season. You lost your Formula Lights at a race in Branson, Missouri. What made you guys decide to go pick up a Danish-built boat, the Mola Guard, from over in Denmark?
Well, Zach and his dad, they've been looking everywhere for another Formula Light boat that would have been comparable to what we had, and they just couldn't find anything that was over here that was as nice as what we had, and they found this one overseas, and it's an incredible boat. It's an incredible boat, and it worked out really well like that.
Absolutely. We look at the number 8 of Jeremiah Mayo in the Formula One class. His Moligard has danced him all the way to a second place in the point standings here in 2022. So obviously Moligard, a solid built boat. These normally run Formula 4 over in Europe with a Mercury 64 stroke on the back. You got a little bit of extra length. What's that like driving in a boat that's a little bit longer? It's incredible. It goes through any water you throw at it. We were concerned about how the motor did on this boat because it's the first one on there, and testing today, it really seemed to go extremely strong, and it corners well. It seems to go real good down the straightaway. It handles beautifully, so it's an amazing boat. It really is. It's incredible. Well, you're going to need that boat because the 35 of Mark Schmierbach, the man who dominates Formula Lights here so far in 2022, as well as the 13 of Grant Schubert, the 42 of Hans Macaulay, and a fleet of great drivers here at the Battle on the San Jacinto. What is the Peterson Racing team going to look to do to try to put the number 14 machine with the Moligard on the top of the podium? Well, we just want to keep testing. We want to keep making changes that keep moving us in the right direction. We just got this boat here real recently, so this is a good shakedown race, and it'll be good to see where we end up at the end of the weekend after we make all the changes. Right on. Well, the Danes making their way to Southeast Texas with the man from Minnesota behind the wheel, looking to do some damage here at the penultimate round of the 2022 Formula One Powerboat Championship season. Watch out for the number 14 at Tyler Peterson.
All right, that was the 14 of Tyler Peterson in that Danish-built Moligard. 2 feet extra length, but none of the weight. He had to put 70 pounds in that boat just to make the minimum weight qualifications in the Formula Light class, and that is a huge advantage. So much more lift. You can squeeze so much more air under that tunnel and lift it up out of the water, and that is the most crucial thing in tunnel boat racing. You've got to make sure that when you're at top speed, as little of those sponsons, right, which are either side of the center capsule, are up out of the water. These tunnel boats operate much like a hydrofoil or an airplane, right? They use the lift from the air as they're traveling across the water to lift the boat out of the water. You'll see these boats at top speed at times have less than 18 inches of the back pads of either sponson in the water and half the prop just spinning at full speed. And these boats run a 2-cylinder, 45 cubic inch OMC outboard. So we're talking Johnson Evinrudes. These motors have been around forever. They're tried and true, and they just keep running. And some of these guys have really got them dialed in. We saw earlier in qualifying heat number 1, the number 35 of Mark Schmierbach came like gangbusters off the start pontoon, and he ran it wire to wire. The 13 of Grant Schubert and the 14 of Tyler Peterson tried as hard as they could to catch the man from Greenfield, Wisconsin, but it just wasn't going to work out for him. And so we'll have to see what's going to happen here in Heat 2, because why? We reverse the heat, reverse the starting order, right? So first goes to worst, worst goes to first, and then we run qualifying heat number 2. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen out there between the likes of Tyler Peterson, Grant Schubert, the number 17 of Chris Hughes in that liquid molly machine, the 42 of Hans Macaulay and running for Macaulay Racing, the Vienna, Austria native, as well as the number 97 of Jared Jensen. As we've got them all lined up on the start pontoon, just waiting to hear from Chief Referee Doug Ray to get underway here with qualifying heat 2 of 3 in the Formula Lights class here at the Battle of the San Jacinto 2022. All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. There you go, 1 minute drivers, 1 minute. On the pole, the 42 of Hans Macaulay, his first race in 2022 after making his way over from Vienna, Austria. Can he capture the checkered flag in Heat 2? 50 seconds, drivers, 50 seconds. Or will it be the number 24, a Jared Wallach, the California native making his way here to Southeast Texas to try to bring some hardware back to the great state of California? 40 seconds, drivers, 40 seconds. Or will it be the number 97 of Jared Jensen or the 14 of Tyler Peterson? 30 seconds, drivers, 30 seconds. Or will the man who's been out in front all year long do it one more time? The pizza in, number 35 of Mark Schmierbach. Let's find out. 20 seconds, drivers, you're under. Starters orders, the flag is up. He drops the flag and they come off the beach. Great jump there by the 35 of Schmierbach. But a nice jump there by the 17 of Chris Hughes. The Liquid Molly machine got a great jump. Rough start there by the 42 of Hans McCauley as he just gets doused. Coming across the middle of the infield, they're going to go down the south end of the course through turns 3 and 4, and then we will start lap 1 of this 6 minutes plus 1 lap. Qualifying heat here in Formula Lights. Liquid Molly on the side. Santa Fe, Texas is where he calls home, pushing hard. And look at the 35 of Mark Schmierbach already up into second place. Will the 17 of Hughes be able to hold him off? That is going to be a tall order. There, the 24 of Wallach works his way down tight to the inside, trying to go by the 13 of Grant Schubert as they're deck-to-deck out of turn number 2. There you see Wallach on the inside, the 13 of Schubert, and that Hertz Audio JH Performance Boats on the outside, and they're pushing hard down the front straightaway. But right now the battle is between this man, the 17 of Chris Hughes, who's out in front, and he's going to have to do everything he can. He's going to have to use everything in his bag of tricks to hold the hard-charging man from Wisconsin at bay here in qualifying heat number 2. The crazy man from Santa Fe is pushing hard out of turn number 2 down the back straightaway. He's doing a good job so far. We're still early on, only on lap number 2. But he has done a solid job of keeping the 35 at bay as they go down into turn 3. Notice he goes tight to the inside, forcing the 35 of Schmierbach to go wide to the outside. And we've got a boat that's down in the water. That's the 97 of Jared Jensen going dead in the water just down the front straightaway, just being passed now by our leader, the 17 of Chris Hughes. Hughes now goes down into turn number 1. Nice move there by Hughes. Now the 13 of Schubert sitting in third, had to go way wide to the outside to try to get through the spray. And here comes the 24 of Jared Wallach and the number 14 of Tyler Peterson. There's the 97 of Jared Jensen. His day afternoon is done. The rookie driver here in Formula Lights just not having a go of it like he would like. Oh, there's 17 of Chris Hughes, does a great job there. Look, he puts it on his tail. He's got it dancing and waving as he comes out of turn number 4 down the front straightaway. And what a great job there he's doing in the corners. He's forcing the 35 of Mark Schmierbach to cross his wake. That is the worst thing for any tunnel boat to have happen, because it's so reliant on the prop biting or grabbing in the water. Well, if you're running in the wash behind the driver in front of you, that water has got so much oxygen that's been infused into the water from that spinning propeller that you really can't grab or get as much bite as you could if you're out in front clean water. 17 of Chris Hughes has been doing this long enough. He absolutely knows that. You can see, so does the 35 of Schmierbach, trying to run off his right hip on the outside. But as the 17 of Chris Hughes continues to push wide to the outside, it's forcing the Schmierbach to take a longer distance around the course. And that is going to make it very difficult for him to catch the man out in front from Santa Fe, Texas, running for Liquid Molly. As they push down out of turn number 3 now, Hughes comes off 3 now, again tight to the inside, but watch out, here comes the 35 of Schmierbach. He's gathering speed coming out of turn number 3, off turn 4, now right now the outside hip, as we've got a 3-boat battle shaping up here for the podium in the final stages of the second qualifying heat here in Formula Lights. The 35 of Schmierbach staying wide to the outside. He knows he's got to keep those RPMs up on that pizza in machine if he's going to gain ground in this short half-mile course here in Formula Lights. As the 17 of Hughes now goes wide to the outside of turn 3, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's going, so there's an entrance pin and an exit pin, right? As he comes down the front straightaway, he's going to enter into pin. The entrance pin here is turn number 1. He comes off the entrance pin wide and then hugs it tight down in to the exit pin down in turn number 2. As you can see, that's forcing the 35 of Schmierbach to go way wide to the outside and in some of that dirty water, and that shows you how important that clean water is, because the 13 of Grant Schubert has really started to close that gap over himself and the 35 of Schmierbach, but who knows if there's going to be enough time. As our leader, the 17 of Chris Hughes, comes down across the start-finish line. Go fast, turn left, just 4 more times for the crazy man from Santa Fe, Texas, pushing hard out in front, the 17 of Chris Hughes. There's the white flag. We got 1 lap remaining here in this second of 3 qualifying heats in Formula Lights. Oh, the 35 of Schmierbach gets doused. Can the 13 of Schubert take advantage? He now moves down to the inside, pushing hard, trying to catch the 35 of Schmierbach and take over that second place position as they go down into turn 3. Oh, the 35 of Schmierbach cuts off the 13 of Schubert And that's going to do everything that the 17 of Chris Hughes needed. Ladies and gentlemen, taking the checkered flag, running for Liquid Molly, number 17, Chris Hughes. And in second place, number 35 of Mark Schmierbach. And narrowly sitting back in third is the 13 of Grant Schubert. Boy, that was a doozy down there in turn number 3. We almost had a nasty accident as the 13 of Schubert tried to stick his nose in on the inside of the 35 of Schmierbach. He shut the door and he almost collided with the Pizza Inn sponsored entry, but that's going to conclude heat number 2. What a great run there by the number 17 of Chris Hughes. He's running really well here this weekend. He got in late, as Chris Hughes normally does. He's you see we got all the great kids fishing out here in between the heats. They've actually caught a couple of crabs, some catfish. It's a great river race, and look at that replay. Just inches away from disaster was the 13 of Grant Schubert and the 35 of Mark Schmierbach. That one was real close, but he's got his hand up, cowling lid open. It's hot out there today, and it's hot inside these carbon fiber reinforced cockpits, but a smile ear to ear, I can assure you, for the Liquid Molly, number 17 of Chris Hughes. He's been in that machine for numerous years, and he's got that thing dialed in, and when he can get some clean water, he can be one of the toughest drivers in the country to get around, that is for sure. Surprisingly there, though, in qualifying heat number 2, the number 14 of Tyler Peterson really did not perform nearly as well as one would expect with that Molagard hull. He ran well in qualifying heat number 1, but here in heat number 2 just wasn't able to get that thing boogieing in the clean water, and was relegated back to 5th position here. And the 42 of Hans Macaulay, the Vienna, Austria native, had some struggles as well. You see, we got a whole crew that has formed there on the west side of the course there. We got our drone checking them all out. They're partying. They got the barge with the tent. Everybody's hanging out. They got the flags flying. This is what we do, baby. It's the Formula One Powerboat Championship Series here at the Battle on the San Jacinto 2022. The 4th round of the 2022 Formula One Powerboat Championships, and the penultimate round as well as our final round of the 2022 season. We'll be down in Lake Havasu City, Arizona, right in front of the beautiful Nautical Inn Beachfront Resort in beautiful Lake Havasu City, October 14th through the 16th. So if you haven't got your tickets, you better get them, because those tickets coming out of Vegas are getting expensive. But we'd love to have you join us in Lake Havasu City. We're going to be giving away 2-seater rides, right? So check out F1Powerboatchampionship.com, as well as at F1 Powerboat Championship on Facebook, and as well as the F1 Powerboat Championships on YouTube. You can find all the information there. You can buy tickets to the race. And if you can, come on down here to the Baytown Boat Club. $20 a day gets you in. We got great food. We got great people. And we got unbelievable racing. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to bring the J Hydros back out on the water for their second qualifying heat here at the 2022 Battle on the San Jacinto. But first, we wouldn't be here without our great sponsors locally here who brought us to this race site specifically, the great folks at Ameristar Roofing, your #1 roofing company in Houston and Louisiana. Check them out at AmeristarRoofing.com. Snap-on Tools and Devin Corbett, your #1 Snap-on rep in the greater Houston metro. Snap-on Tools, reinventing the essentials. Chris Kiefer Construction, custom construction and stone service in the greater Austin, Texas area, as well as all of central and southern Texas. Yates Electrical, shockingly supreme service. Whether it be residential or commercial, your only choice for your electrical needs is Yates Electrical. Slack & Company, they build success. They are your #1 choice for earthwork and mass excavation in the great state of Texas. Baytown Boat Club, the host of the 2022 Battle on the San Jacinto and the #1 boat club east of Houston. And of course, our series sponsors that bring us everywhere we go throughout the United States here in 2022. The great folks, our streaming partner, Bowden Development. Building to a higher standard is what made Bowden Development Incorporated one of the most trusted names in California construction industry. Seaway Marine, your one-stop boat motor shop. Check them out at seawaymarine.com. Seabolt Sports, world champion powerboat racing since 1939. Racing Communications, radios for racing. VP Racing Fuels, the official fuel sponsor of the Formula One Powerboat Championships. JH Performance boats, custom handcrafted shallow water bay boats built with the highest quality materials. And Mercury Racing, committed to the pursuit of wide open, accept no boundaries, and accept no compromise. All right, and joining me now is the man who ran that thing wire to wire after jumping off the dock, the nut job from Santa Fe, running for Liquid Molly, the number 17 of Chris Hughes. Man, that had to feel good to keep Schmierbach in your rear view, huh?
Oh, it always feels good to keep Spear in your rear view. That's always a great thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And, and one thing a lot of us know is when the 17 gets out in front, good luck. You look like you had a great approach to the race there. You were going wide into the entrance pin, really high apex, and then diving down tight on the exit pin. It really forced Schmierbach to go way wide around the outside. It seemed to be the real key for you to run that thing to the checkered flag.
Oh, absolutely. You get to make the boat real wide.
Yeah, let's talk about that. It seemed like because you were going so wide, Schmierbach, he didn't really ever want to dive inside of you. And consequently, the 13 of Grand Schubert just kept catching him and kept catching him and catching. They almost got together right behind you down there in those final two turns. You collected valuable points. What does this mean for the Liquid Molly racing team as you guys are trying to tee things up to bring home some hardware back to Santa Fe?
Well, I'll tell you what, it is always a good thing to end up out front on the end of a Saturday. Maybe that's going to make for a really good Sunday.
Absolutely. Well, we're 2 heats down. You collected some valuable points. You got one more left to go tomorrow before the main event. And I know that everybody collectively, I think, in the Formula Lights class is trying to help everybody just not let Mark Schmierbach win the race. Am I right?
The thing about Mark is, I've called him the general for years, and he's earned that. He's a hard guy to keep at bay for 30 laps.
Absolutely, and it's tough. Obviously you did a great job here in the qualifying heat doing that. Obviously, it could be a much taller order tomorrow afternoon in that main event in the Formula Lights class. But, hey, you're doing what you need to do to make sure that he can start off your right hip instead of off your left. Am I right?
And that's the object here. I want to be on the far left come tomorrow. That's my goal.
Absolutely. Well, the 17 of Chris Hughes looking to get a pole position and secure that thing through qualifying for our main event later on this afternoon. Congrats. Go back to the pits, enjoy it, and get that thing ready for qualifying heat number 3.
Yes, sir. Thank you much.
All right, that was the number 17 of Chris Hughes. He's a unique breed of human being, but I guess when you get behind the wheel of a Formula Lights machine, you got to be a unique human being just to get behind the wheel, and it's great to see him back out in front with a checkered flag in hand. He got some valuable points, and what a great run it was for him and the rest of his team. Up next, we've got the the J Hydros are going to be out on the water. We're going to run our second 3-lap qualifying heat there in the J Hydro class. We'll see, will the number 5 of Carter Hofair be able to hold off the 03 of Austin Terry in qualifying heat number 2? He won by just a nose in qualifying heat number 1. But we'll have to take a quick peek to see what's going to happen here in J Hydro. 2-minute break. So quick, run back to the fridge, grab yourself an ice cold beer, quick throw yourself a pizza in the oven, or what are you doing if you're at home? If you're here at the Baytown Blow Club, first and foremost, thanks for hanging out with us today. It's been an interesting day. We had some power outages with some generators overheating and losing electricals and all sorts of fun stuff, but it wouldn't be a boat race if that stuff didn't happen, am I right? But down here at the Baytown Boat Club, we've got the great folks at the I Don't Care Grill, and they have got a bunch of unbelievable food: taquitos, egg rolls, fried chips, loaded baked potatoes, hot dogs, chili dogs, egg rolls, all sorts of stuff right down there at the I Don't Care Grill. So make sure you stop down if you're hanging out with us here at the Baytown Boat Club and grab some great grub while you're here hanging out. We'll be right back momentarily with the conclusion of J Hydro qualifying here on Saturday's qualifying day at the 2022 Battle of the San Jacinto Round 4 of the 2022 Formula 1 Powerboat Championships. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back with the J Hydros on the water. It looks like the number 11 of Jet Ski Jared is not going to make it out for qualifying heat number 2. I know that they had said that there was a lot of problems with that boat, and it wasn't rigged properly, so they got to figure it out. So it looks like it's going to be a two-man battle between the number 5 of Carter Holfair and the 03, the Dustman of Austin Terry. The Dustman, that's his dad. So this is, notice the 03, the same on the Formula One boat of Dustin Terry, as well as his son, the 03 of Austin Terry. They're pushing hard down the front straightaway, and there's the green flag, and we are underway. The 05 of Carter Holfair on the inside. Oh, and he douses down the 03 of Austin Terry as they come down into turn number 1, and that opens up a bit of a lead. The 5 of Holfair now peels it off at turn number 2 as they go down the back straightaway. Holfair opened up a bit of a lead now because of the 03 of Austin Terry getting a little too close down there in turn number 1, and he got doused down, and you can see how these things kind of skid out. Oh, he comes barreling in fast. As they might have just been, and this is the thing. It's a rolling start. There's no pace boat. This is something that's very different from the rest of the racing that we do. But it looks like the 03, the Dustman of Austin Terry is pushing hard now and really gained the gap, closed the gap. He's got a lot of top-end speed. Where he's really been struggling is down in the corners. He's been struggling to find that tight line. He's been having to go way wide to the outside, and I don't know if he has enough room to close the gap and overtake once they get down the straightaways. But he has closed quite a bit of a gap from the first lap here on lap number 2. The 5 of Carter Holfair now works his way down tight. He likes that inside line. Now, here comes the 03 of Austin Terry. What a smart move by Terry. Now he pinches it tight down to the inside as they're deck to deck, side by side, coming out of turn number 3. What a great move by the 03 of Austin Terry. He knew exactly what he had to do. He knifed down underneath. Looks like he might have gotten a tip from his father, a great Formula One driver in his own right, as he really teed up the 05 of Carter Holfair. Now will he do it again? No, he's too close this time. So now he's got to go wide to the outside. He's probably going to give up a little bit of ground, but he might be close enough to make that same move down in turn number 3 here on the third and final lap. Let's see what happens. The 03 of Austin Terry on the outside. The 5 of Carter Holfair down tight to the inside as they go down the back straightaway. Coming off the turn number 3 as they go down into the south end of the course. The 03 of Austin Terry's too close. He can't dive underneath, so now he's got to go wide to the outside. Will he have enough time to track down the 5 of Carter Holfair? Here they come, side by side, deck to deck down the front straightaway. Holfair on the inside, Terry on the outside as they go walking down the front straightaway, taking the checkered flag for the second heat in a row. The number 5, just narrowly, the of Carter Holfair. And just on his heels, but not quite enough, the 03 of Austin Terry. Then rounding out the field, unable with a do not start or DNS here in qualifying heat number 2, the number 11 of Jet Ski Jared. That rounds out qualifying heat number 2 here in the J Hydro class. And here comes the 03. You see a great shot there from our drone. The 03 of Austin Terry making his way back into the pits. And I hope you're ready, ladies and gentlemen, because the final race of the afternoon is up here momentarily. The big boys are back on the water here for their final qualifying heat on Saturday as they try to jockey for position to figure out who is going to be the pole sitter for tomorrow's main event in the Formula One class. Attention in the pits, attention in the pits. Formula One to the ramp, Formula Ones to the ramp. Attention in the pits, attention in the pits. Formula Ones to the ramp, Formula Ones to the ramp. All righty, so that was J Hydro, and what a doozy of a day we've had. We've had only in J Hydro have we had the same qualifying heat be won by the same person. So Carter Holfair's got 2 wins in J Hydro, but in Formula Lights we saw Schmierbach take heat 1, and the 17 of Chris Hughes take heat number 2. In the Texas Tri-Hulls, we saw the 99 of Devin Brown take heat number 1, and then we saw the 13 of Grant Schubert come out of nowhere after a debacle down in the final turn in qualifying heat number 2 by the 29 of Jared Jensen getting together with the number 1 of Corey Walker. And the 13 of Grant Schubert kind of stealing that one there at the final moment. But, hey, all you got to do is cross the finish line in first. Doesn't matter how you got there prior to the checkered flag. So I suspect here in Formula One we might see something similar. In the one-lap qualifiers, we had 10 of the 14 drivers within 9.5 tenths of a second. So less than 1 second separated first to 10th. And just like we do at all the Formula One Powerboat Championship races, we invert the field. So first goes to worst, worst goes to first. So here in qualifying heat number 2, you're going to see on the pole that chartreuse and black snap-on machine with that brand new Mercury 200 APX V6 competition 4-stroke outboard, the number 99 of Travis Yates. Next to him, the number 77 buckshot cleaver of Mike Quindazzi. And in third, the number 70 of Jude Gaspard. Coming fourth off the start pontoon, the number 20 of Ashton Rinker and that McLean Trailers Rinker Boat World machine. And fifth is the number 15, the Hertz Audio JH Performance of Tim Kraft. Coming sixth off the start pontoon after having a phenomenal one-lap qualifier and running extremely well until a mechanical safety malfunction caused it's essentially an airbag that lives above the driver behind the cockpit, and if it's a rollover, that bag inflates and rights the boat. Well, that doesn't do you a whole lot of good if you're not upside down and you're running at top speed when that thing deploys. And unfortunately for the number 9 of Johnny Fleming, that's exactly what happened in qualifying heat number 1. His safety airbag deployed. It caused obviously a ton of drag, and he really struggled to hold on to position there in qualifying heat number 1. Coming 7th off the start pontoon, the man sitting second in points in 2022. The other half of that Hertz Audio JH Performance Formula One team, the number 8 of Jeremiah Get Out of My Way Mayo. He's got to do some damage here if he wants to set himself up for success in the main event tomorrow. Coming 8th off the start pontoon, the lone Canadian running for crystal clear wiper blades, the number 94 of Rusty Wyatt. Then it's the 24 of Spencer Love, followed by the 52 of Chris Rinker, and then the final 3 boats in the group, the 03 of Dustin Terry, the 17 of Dylan Anderson, and then the 09 of Whitney Terry Fletcher, even though she finished last in qualifying heat number 1 due to her rookie status here in 2022. We require rookies to qualify from the back of the pack, right? They're learning, they're newer to the class, they just moved up. Now, they can start wherever they want in the final, but during qualifying, we force them to qualify from the back just to try to minimize the damage or disruption that can be caused by a rookie driver. And she's getting a lot of great laps in. I think she ran every class she could at the APBA National Championships in Springfield, Ohio. I think she logged something like 142 laps between competition and testing there in Springfield. So she's coming along. Obviously, she had a rough start to her year, the 09 of Whitney Terry Fletcher. In testing in the opening round, she blew it sky high and snapped that thing in half. I don't know if they've yet fully repaired her number 1 boat. I know that in Springfield, Ohio, she was in her backup boat, and she did bring her backup boat here. So I don't know how close they are to getting finished. You can see there in the background that chartreuse in black with that big old APX 200 Mercury Performance outboard on the back. That is the man who's going to be on the pole here in qualifying heat number 2, the number 99 of Travis Yates. So we're getting these guys lined up in the water. Another opportunity here to thank our great sponsors. From a series standpoint, we couldn't do it without the great folks at Mercury Racing, VP Racing Fuels, Seabold Sports, Racing Communications, JH Performance Boats, Seaway Marine, and our streaming sponsor, Bowden Development. Locally here, the great folks at Ameristar Roofing, Snap-on Tools, and Devin Corbett, Chris Kiefer Construction, Yates Electrical, Slack & Company, and our host of the 2022 Battle on the San Jacinto, the Baytown Boat Club. We're going to take a quick breather. We're going to get these Formula Ones loaded in the water, and we're going to have 6 minutes plus 1 lap of dynamic racing action here as we try to set our starting grid for tomorrow's main event here at the 4th round of the 2022 Formula One Powerboat Championships.